These kind of horde style modes are some of my favorite things in video games
Mine as
because it gives you that sort of replayability. There is there's so much strategy, but I missed the action. I was just looking at Mike's face.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just like
Peter's so excited.
Yeah, it's like I love my game. Just saying.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to PlayStation Underground. On today's show, we are playing Dreadnought on PS4, and I'm joined by Peter Hotzefeld from Jaeger and Michael Barr from 6 Foot. Hello, gentlemen, and welcome.
Hello. Thanks for
thank you
having us.
guys for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having
Glad
us.
to be here.
Really cool.
So, Peter, we are playing. We're kind of in the closed beta right now for Dreadnought, and you can maybe give us a little insight into what Dreadnought is all about, what its grand vision is.
Of course. So Dreadnought is about big spaceships. That's kind of the essence of it. Like we thought, okay, there's a lot of games about small fighter jets, and there's a lot of fairly complex games about big spaceships, but there's no like really pop culture type of games about big spaceships that you can get into really quickly, that have all the elements that makes big spaceships cool, but have easy accessibility and then have a lot of tactical depth behind it.
I think that this game is about big spaceships.
Yeah, it is
I'm
about big
gathering.
spaceships. Did I say big spaceships?
No, that's just the vibe that I'm getting. That's all.
Totally.
And what are you guys showing off in the closed beta? You have team deathmatch going on a couple maps, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
same type of philosophy. We wanted to actually have a like easy to understand game mode first, and then we'll roll out more game modes later. Like currently, it's 2 maps: team deathmatch. Straightforward.
5v5.
Yeah, 5v5.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, then tell us a little bit about the ship, this beauteous ship that we are piloting right now.
So this is our medium tactical cruiser. So the inspiration for Dreadnought to a certain extent is Team Fortress, so a very distinct class-based thing where you get by the shapes what the role of the ships are and what they actually need to do. So we have we were inspired by like a lot of the media that we really like, whether it's Battlestar Galactica or Star Wars or Star Trek, all that. And then we created classes accordingly. So we have a Dreadnought, which is more of a Galactica, more of a tank. We have destroyers, which are like assault ships in a way. We have corvettes, which are more like Han Solo, Millennium Falcon type of scouts. We have artillery cruisers, which are giant flying guns in the sky. And then we have the tactical cruiser here, which is our healer. And we have more than 50 ships in the game right now, and so each class has multiple subclasses. And this particular...
How many did you say? 50?
More than 50, yeah.
50?
Yeah.
It's a lot of ships.
And growing.
Yeah.
We're continuously adding new ships.
I am impressed that you have such a large staple of giant spaceships already.
Yeah, it took a while to build them, but
So
it was also a lot of fun.
No, yeah, and Mike, you are playing the healer right now,
Yes.
right? So that's why we are gazing
So
longingly
yes,
at this.
it's not the most attractive view at the moment. Let me fly around a little bit.
No, it's fine. Look, Mike, you're doing your job.
Yes,
And
keeping him alive.
Everybody in online games knows the healer is vital to the success of the operation.
Totally.
So
We have
is that why the ship kind of has like a white and green palette to it to kind of give it that medic look, or is that just chance?
Yeah, it's in a way it's both. Like we have 3 manufacturers in the game, and one of them is House Oberon, and this ship is actually built by House Oberon.
Okay.
And they have this more sleek type of white, very nice shapes type of look. And there to the left you see the destroyer, which is built by Jupiter Arms, so it's more Galactica-like, like very hard edges, very military, very straight.
And the third manufacturer?
It's Akula. I think one of the ships down there is Akula. So they are more Russian military tech inspired. If you remember Rambo 2, like the Russian helicopter that comes in there, like more round shapes, but very functional and sturdy.
I love it. Now tell us a little bit about the maps and kind of some of the design there. What brought about these play fields?
So the 2 maps that we have in there are kind of in a way our framework. Like we have Rings of Saturn, which is the map that we see here, and then we have Kappa Base. One of the twists in Dreadnought is that you actually have maps in space, but also maps on planet surfaces. And obviously they play very different. Like in this map, there's a lot more verticality involved. Like you can go under the giant structures in there. Like have a lot of flanking options. Asteroids give and provide nice cover. And then cover is more of a condensed map. It's more highlands, like color green, very nice environments, like very nice,
Aesthetically pleasing.
aesthetically pleasing. But a very tight map with canyons that you can flank and go through. Very nice for corvettes to actually go into cloak mode and then sneak behind enemy artillery cruisers. But you're always restricted by, the planet surface.
Yeah, of course, of course. The giant flat surface. Well, it's not flat, but you know.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the class design then, because you went through them very quickly at the top of the show, but I kind of want to get into how your team balances that class design. What are some of the roles of those ships, and kind of like how they actually operate in a match.
Yeah, for the
healer, I understand.
for the actual balancing madness, you would need to talk to our designers. Like,
I'm sure you know everything about it.
I know everything about it, every little detail, every little number I tweaked. But now I just wanted to give credit to those guys, because they do a great job in actually balancing those giant Excel sheets. And with more than 50 ships, it's and we have 4 ability slots on each of those ships. So each ability really changes the way that you play that ship. So to go a bit into that, like if you have a Dreadnought, which is our like tanky class, like the heavy classes, and then you choose the sap class below it.
Oh no!
And we have a lot of big explosions, by the way. So you first choose your class as playstyle, like in this case, let's say Dreadnought, and then within the Dreadnought class you have multiple subclasses, depending, like fine-tuning, like there's faster Dreadnoughts and really heavy and slower Dreadnoughts, and then you have 4 ability slots, and they really change how you actually, we see that in the lower right now, they really change how you actually play that Dreadnought. So a Dreadnought could be equipped with a broadside, a warp jump, autoguns, and heavy torpedoes, and then becomes this brawler that actually jumps into the action with the warp jump, dishes out broadsides, all energy to the shields or to the weapons, and then jumps out again with the warp jump. Or it could be a Dreadnought that's equipped with nuclear missiles and fighter launching base and long-range missiles and armor amplifiers, and then becomes more of this fortress that stays a bit behind enemy lines. And
I love it.
More long range.
I love it. And I feel like the deliberate pace of the giant ships is kind of a huge component to this game.
It is.
And there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of sort of, like I said, it's deliberate, and it opens up a lot of the strategy as well. Like, you really have to think about where you're moving, because it's not like you can just quickly duck around or, dip back under cover. Like, sometimes you have to commit to a move, right?
It really depends on the ship that you're playing. In general, yes. I mean, it's a game about big spaceships, and where you move actually has a lot of impact. Like, often, especially with the bigger ships, whether you die or succeed is decided like 30 seconds before the battle actually begins, or a minute before that. But then we also have the smaller ships like the Corvette, and if you equip that with a blink warp and thrust amplifiers, they actually become relatively fast. It's more the
they're zipping around.
Firefly reference, like I'm a leaf in the wind type of thing that actually flies around enemy ships. That's actually one of the things that influence us the most. Like, we all have these like iconic moments where you have the bird of prey uncloaking behind a ship and then unloading a torpedo, or the Galactica actually lining up a broadside, and we try to recreate those moments as much as we can.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And then tell me a little bit about, so this particular ship is which class again?
So
that
this
you're
is
playing
the
now?
artillery cruiser. It's more like the glass cannon.
Okay. What a great term, by the way. Glass cannon is one of my favorite terms.
Shields.
You guys are helping each other out. See, it's part of the match.
Yeah, so he's the quick artillery, so I got to spin around.
Secondary weapon. Secondary weapon. You won't get them with the primary.
Mike.
So yeah, basically the firing angle of the artillery cruiser is fairly limited, and with the primary gun, so you have to really align your ship towards the enemy. But it also has a secondary weapon which you can modify. In this case, this was the light flak turrets. So.
Oh, he's behind me.
Where'd they go?
When we designed that ship, we actually had Ramius in mind, like Sean Connery in Hunt for the Red October. So we always had these captains in our head.
Tell me a little bit about the interface and some of the information that we have on screen, because there's a lot. You're giving us a lot, but it's pretty streamlined.
Sheets
but
again.
there's still
Sorry.
still a lot to digest. So what do we got?
Yeah, I mean it's basically we try to bring in all the components that are relevant for us for big spaceships, but try to streamline them. But it's still quite a lot. So on the left side, which is now at 0, is
Got myself in a crossfire.
We're just
Can I try
demonstrating
one destroyer or
the.
corvette?
Sure.
We're demonstrating the dynamic nature of these battlefields. It can change at any minute.
Yeah. We're thinking about actually doing the good old couch thing where you're handing back the controller back and forth after dying.
Hey, you want to take the destroyer? Take
Try.
a turn.
Just real quick.
Peter is going to try, and then right after that,
Try to talk and play.
Yeah,
It can be done.
it's so simple. And then right after, actually, we're just playing standard team deathmatch. But I do want us to get to some of the Havoc footage, which Havoc is a new mode deployed into the closed beta. It's available now while you're watching this, and we'll get there in a second. But that's a very different type of beast than what we're seeing here.
I self-destructed.
You got yourself caught between a couple ships.
just
like I did. Yeah.
Peter, I hate to say it, but you didn't quite last as long as Mike did.
Because I was more aggressive.
Okay,
I wanted to show you an
okay.
aggressive playstyle.
I see.
Yeah, the destroyer is more like run into somebody and
That's not
unload all your weapons.
And what's this adorable little guy right here?
So basically, that's the corvette, kind of the fast.
You were totally
Yeah.
right. This thing's flying.
Yeah, this is
it's
your
much
your-
quicker than before. You can basically have an
And were you saying that this ship could serve, either scouting or reconnaissance roles as well, or kind of
it could be more
flanking
of a spy unit, infiltrator, go
Mm.
behind the. It usually goes behind the lines, but depending on what kind of modules you equip, you either are more sneaky or more on speed.
Yeah. So I like to play the artillery, the glass cannon, and these guys like to ruin my day. They come flying in from the side and drop a torpedo right at
So
me.
basically, you're seeing an artillery cruiser there. We're gonna mark him now with.
Which I just predicted.
Yeah. And now we're gonna drop a torpedo, put our energy to the weapons, and then.
Oh, he's
switch
trying to
to
get
the-
away.
Yeah, he's trying to get away.
Is he
Oh,
gonna make it?
oh!
Let's see. We're actually getting close.
Oh, he did a good job. He got away.
No, he didn't.
Well, he
Oh,
got
no,
away
he's
from the torpedo anyway.
jumped. He's got
Oh.
did the dive maneuver.
Oh,
Come on.
I'm stressed out. I don't
he
even
gonna
I don't
live?
even have
Yeah.
I don't even really have a stake in this game, but I'm stressed.
The problem is the Corvette is faster, so you can't really
Got
outrun him.
So now I'm getting out of there with my thrust amplifier.
Your best
So-
bet is to run him into a pile of friends.
I
and then,
see.
Yeah.
So just in terms of interface and what's going on here. So I just activated the thrust amplifier that you see, and now it's in cooldown on the lower right side. On the right side, you actually see the energy management. So we wanted to get all these iconic moments again in there where Picard is sitting on his chair saying all energy to the engines, and that you can actually do with a flick of the touchpad here, like basically just moving it forward, and then energy goes to the engines. If you push it to the right, you're pulling up shields. If you push it to the left, you're putting energy to the weapons, and then down actually sets it, cancels it, and then it refills after a certain amount of time. We have the armor on the left side, like the 7000, and then the primary weapon ammunition is the 20 down there.
The
And
yellow.
then, yeah, the yellow here.
Awesome.
And then we have a secondary weapon on this one is currently the beam turrets, but that can be modified as well. So,
So
go down
Peter-
there.
Oh, sorry. I hate to interrupt
sure.
the epic action, but I do want us to have time to go into Havoc mode.
That is
So
completely okay.
Let us take a quick break, and we are going to jump into the Havoc mode,
Sounds
which is
good.
coming first to PS4.
Cool.
Here we go. So this is a mode that's coming first to PS4, and it is definitely a different beast, a different giant spaceship than the modes that we were looking at before.
Yeah, similar but very different giant spaceship. Yeah, it's a 3-player cooperative mode against AI. So you're fighting waves of incoming enemies that are getting stronger and stronger, and you always have like different modifiers in each wave. They're randomized. They really alter the way that the game is played. But the core bit is actually that you and 2 buddies fight against enemy waves, figuring out tactics, upgrading your ship while actually going through these waves, changing ships, so different combination of ships are possible. It's really to get you into the game and figure out how to play as a team while actually fighting against giant waves of enemy ships.
And so these kind of horde style modes are some of my favorite things in video games because it gives you that sort of replayability. There is there's so much strategy, but I missed the action. I was just looking at Mike's face.
Yeah, I'm just like
Peter's so excited.
Yeah, it's like I love my game. I'm just saying. I mean, did you see the broadside? Did you see that? And then there's torpedoes. So yeah, this is between the waves. You collect XP depending on how fast you actually go through the waves, and then you can upgrade certain parts of your ship, and then at some point also change your ship. And in this case, the modifier for the second wave is that energy is disabled, so you can't use the shield and weapon and engines.
And like you said, that's all random. So
yeah.
As you enter a different phase, you get the information for what's changed.
Exactly.
And that's an interesting design mechanic too, because that randomness opens up people's play styles to a lot of things that maybe they wouldn't be normally comfortable with in the standard PvP modes. How do you guys plan for something like that, kind of putting your players in a pinch, but still keeping it fun?
Interesting question on how we plan for it. I mean, it's just a very nice design choice by some of our designers. This is mainly done by Dan, really cool Swedish designer, and some of the other guys, of course. And the randomness was one of the things that he really wanted to get in there. It's like, okay, really strong replayability and having players actually adjust to different situations, also different ships, so that they try different ships. It's a really nice touch. I like it.
Yeah, it keeps it fresh, and then you want to play test the heck out of it to make sure you're not putting people in a corner.
I would have thought you guys would have just deployed it without any testing whatsoever, and just really let it solve itself out.
Yeah. When people find out what you do, they say, "Do you play video games all day?" It's like, but it's important.
We know that it is actually, but it's work.
And how many waves are in? Is it just keep going until you hit the end, or what are we looking at?
It's basically infinite.
Infinite.
So it's infinite waves, but there's boss fights in between. So
okay.
At wave 7, if I'm not mistaken, there is a boss coming in, and bosses are random too. Like each class has its own kind of boss type of situation.
I love this. And we didn't touch too much on the kind of customization elements, which hopefully we'll be able to get to another day. But any highlights you want to share with the audience in that department?
Yeah, I mean, each ship is heavily customizable. It was one of the things. Again, like we want players to be able to recreate their captain fantasy in a way. So on this one right now, you have the armor amplifier, you have anti-missile lasers, you have broadsides, and I'm not entirely sure what's on the triangle at the moment, but probably
a powerful weapon called unavailable.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's unavailable, but it's gonna be it's the powerful weapon that's counting down.
It's coming soon to a screen near you.
You have those 4 slots. So it's a Goliath torpedo. So very hardcore in-fight close combat type of spaceship in a way. You can make that a long-range combat. Each class actually has very different playstyle based on the abilities, and then you also have 4 officers, like navigation officer, communication officer, engineering, and who's the last one? Like now talking about it. Anyhow, like 4 officer slots that function as perks, so passive abilities, and they're really there to fine-tune your playstyle.
Oh, that's it. That's all we had. Perfect timing, Peter. Peter, Michael, thank you guys so much. Dreadnought is the kind of the full version. The full rollout is coming this summer to PS4. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
PlayStation